open. In every situation, we take it as a new situation and always respond appropriately. There's no rigid formula actually, even in science. Before talking about what I want to talk, I want to read some extract from the Pali, translated into English. Very beautiful. These are very important to remember every day. Buddha said, "Monk, thus must you train your servant. Thus must you train your servant." And what is that? We will be thankful and grateful. This is the way you should train ourselves. I will be thankful and grateful. It is very important to be thankful, to be grateful. Not even the least thing that is done for us shall be forgotten. Very beautiful. Not even the least thing that is done for us shall be forgotten. So, as monks also, we remember that. Always reflecting on that. But whenever we use something, we always reflect on that. Eating food, eating gold, and any other thing, medicine, whatever. So, this is very important for us. We demand too much, sometimes we are too unsatisfied that we forget to be thankful and grateful. We forget what others are doing for us so much. If you think about it, even those people that we don't know are indirectly contributing to our well-being in some way, to our understanding. Even your enemy is contributing you to be alert, to understand, to forgive. Even those who push your buttons. Oh, if he's giving me a chance to watch my buttons, to watch how I react. So, here is a big extended family. I always repeat these things. Please understand that I'm not just saying words. Very important to feel this. To feel that we are a family, an extended family. And we are contributing, we are helping each other. We are doing quite a lot for each other. And directly or indirectly. So we have our president here, the mother of our society, and we have our secretary working very hard to put things together, to keep things together, to organize. Not easy, I can understand that. Not easy to work for an organization. So much to think, so much to talk, so much to write, to prepare. And also, we have our tremendous here, doing all the recordings and copying, and also he's looking after my health too, doing quite a lot for me. And all of you here also, in many ways, you are doing a lot for me, for the society, and in some ways for the whole humanity. So, understand this very deeply. You are doing quite a lot, and others are also doing the same. So we appreciate each other. We feel thankful for each other. So, very important to remember this daily, every day. So today I want to talk about something very important in our life again, something very universal again. I want to talk about emotions. And one part of Dhamma Sutta is about emotions, Vedana and Vipassana. So Vedana means feeling, sensations, emotions. All three means Vedana. So in our body we have pleasant sensations, unpleasant sensations, and also neutral sensations. Or we may call it feelings also. But in our mind also we have pleasant emotions, unpleasant emotions, and neutral emotions. But in Pali it's the same word, Vedana. Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Upekha Vedana in our body. And in our mind, Samanasa Vedana, which is pleasant emotions, Dhammanasa Vedana, unpleasant emotions, and Upekha Vedana. So one word in Pali covers the whole thing. Very broad meaning. So I was thinking of talking about this a long time ago, how to talk about emotions without becoming emotional. Because I'm very emotional actually. And some people think that, well, monks are not emotional. Mostly they are very well controlled. They are in touch with the emotions, so they can maintain the calmness. But they still feel emotions. Don't forget that. Unless and until you become an anagami, you feel emotions. Sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel very happy and excited. So it's human. So not to pretend that we are not emotional is very important. Because pretending makes us feel even more unhappy, more uptight, more lonely. But not to explode with emotion is also very important. Not to react with emotion is also very important. So to understand, to be in touch with emotion, and with that understanding, deep understanding, we can appropriately respond to the situation, even to our emotions. So to respond appropriately is very important. Not to deny, not to hide, not to pretend, not to explode, not to react, but to be aware, to be mindful, to be in touch with our emotions, and then from that awareness and deep understanding, respond appropriately. So I'll tell you a very short story about some monks, maybe about one monk I know personally. He is my teacher also, and his teacher is also my teacher. We have a common teacher, a very old learned Sayadaw who was passed away. So his teacher, who is still alive now, is about 70, maybe 71. He's a Dhamma teacher and a Buddhist teacher. He has many students, monks and lay people, hundreds, maybe thousands. So he gave very good Dhamma talks, and as usual, in a Buddhist country, whenever there is a funeral, people invite monks to come and give a Dhamma talk. So he will go to the Dhamma talk and always tell people, don't be so sad, don't become so emotional. It's the nature of the body, to be born and to die. Even Buddha died, even Sariputta. Whenever Sariputta died, even Venerable Mahamoggallana, who was very powerful, who developed very powerful psychic powers, even he died, Nibbana. So all of us will die one day. Just learn from it. Don't be so sad, don't cry. But one day, his brother came to the monastery and told him that his mother was very sick. So he told me that, well, I'm going to see my mother, and will you please come with me? Because I understand some medicine, and we had a lot of medicine. Nobody knew how to use the medicine. So I told him, yes, I'll come with you. So I took a lot of medicine with me, and we went to his hometown, actually a village near town. But when we arrived there, his brother came and told us that his mother had just passed away. It was a few hours ago. So we went to his mother's house, and there his mother, her body on the bed, and a lot of the relatives came, and we cried. And you know what my teacher did? He cried and cried and cried. He couldn't say anything. He was supposed to give a Dhamma talk there, to tell the relatives not to cry, but he has a big fan. You know, monks carry a big, mostly palm leaf fan, mostly. He covered his face with a palm leaf fan, and then he cried and cried and cried. Couldn't stop crying. Couldn't give a Dhamma talk. So some people said, well, when our mother died, you told us not to cry. But now, you can't even give a Dhamma talk? He said, it was your mother, but now it is my mother. So even a great teacher, my teacher, he cried when his mother died. And also, when our teacher passed away, he cried too, and I cried too. Somebody so loving and kind, he was like a father to me. Actually, he told me that he was my godfather. Because when a person wants to become a monk, he needs the permission from his parents. But my parents wouldn't give me permission. I was disowned. So I told my teacher, how can I become a monk? I cannot get permission from my parents. And he said, I'm your father. So it's settled. So I became a monk. A very fatherly teacher. Very kind, very understanding, very loving, very forgiving. And when he died, of course, I felt very, very sad. So it's very difficult to talk about emotions without becoming emotional. Emotions are very important in our life. These days, people think a lot more about intellectual ideas, reasoning, thinking, intellectuality, or I don't know exactly how the word is. It's a little word. But talking about our brain, if I may use the symbol of the brain, we have two brains, two half brains. In fact, it's like we have two different minds. The left side of the brain thinks, reasons, use logic, solve problems, and the right side of our brain feels, love, or hatred, or sadness, or anything. So our right side of the brain is very creative, understands things holistically. So these days, even parents, they push too hard to the children to learn more knowledge from books, but they don't teach the children to understand their own feelings, their emotions. So people grow up with a lot of useful knowledge, but not enough understanding of their own emotions. So emotional maturity is also very important. We can be intellectually very mature, but emotionally very immature too. So people of high IQ flounder, and those of modest IQ do surprisingly well. I know a lot of my friends who are very, very intelligent, who were top in our classes, but when they graduated from the university and went out into the world, they cannot relate to people. They can learn a lot from books, they can do a lot of work alone, but when they go out and relate with people, they don't know how to deal with people. Emotionally, they are not mature. So, some of my friends who were very, very intelligent, who were very intellectually developed, are not doing well in life. But some others who do not have degrees from universities, but they are doing very well in life. They understand themselves very well, they are emotionally very stable, very mature, they understand people very deeply, they can empathize with people, so they can work with people. To be able to work with people, you need emotional maturity. Without that, you cannot work with people. You can work alone in the office with a computer. Even with a computer, one of my friends who is working with a computer, sometimes he said, I want to punch the computer. When I make mistakes, he doesn't understand. He just went right away and did the wrong thing. So, sometimes he got upset with his computer even. Couldn't forgive the poor computer who is doing so well. But, anyway, it is very important, emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is the base of will and character. So without emotional maturity, we cannot decide to do something and keep doing it until we achieve it. Because when people become too emotional, they change their mind very quickly. The men with the highest test scores in college were not particularly successful compared to the lower scoring peers in terms of salary, productivity, or status in their field. Nor did they have the greatest life satisfaction, nor the most happiest with friendship, family, and also romantic relationships. So, a lot of people I know who they complain that, oh, my husband, he doesn't know my emotions, he doesn't know my feelings, he won't listen to me. He's just solving problems, that's all. So when somebody understand your feelings, your emotions, then you feel very relaxed. You feel that this person understands you. You feel very close. You don't feel lonely anymore. So, even for yourself, to understand your own feelings, to understand your own emotions is very important. And based on your own understanding of your emotions, you can empathize with another person and understand that person. Only when people understand each other's emotions, then they feel that they are understood. They feel very close. So without understanding emotions, we will feel very, very lonely. Emotional maturities, abilities such as being able to motivate oneself, that is very important, to motivate oneself. So when you meditate and become very calm and peaceful and look deeply into your heart, you get in touch with your real nature, so to speak. Most of the time, we are imitating other people. We are trying to do what others are doing. We are taking other people's standards. But we are not doing what we really love to do. And only when we become very mindful and free, and we get deeply in touch with ourselves, then we feel that there is some yearning, some sort of deep longing for something. In the beginning it's very, very vague. You don't really know what it is. But if you stay with that long time, then you feel that I really love to do something. You really love to do something, not because you have to. You just love to do something. So when you do that, you feel very satisfied and happy with your life. You may not become rich or famous, but you feel very, very satisfied. So to know what we really love is very important. And to do what we really love is also very important. To do something just for money is not really satisfying. So to motivate yourself is important. You know what you want to do and you will do it and do it and do it. No matter how long it takes. Maybe many lifetimes. So abilities such as being able to motivate oneself and persist in the face of frustration. Persist. This persistence is very important. In meditation, it's not easy. You are working with your mind and the mind is so flickery, so jumping from one thing to another. It's very difficult to do and you become very frustrated and many people just give up. Oh no, it's not for me anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't sit still even for 5 minutes. They give up. So if you give up, then you will never succeed in doing anything worthwhile. Anything that is really worthwhile in our life needs persistence. You have to work for it, maybe years, maybe a lifetime, maybe many, many lifetimes. So persist in the face of frustration is very important. So frustration is another emotion. So if you don't understand frustration, you just give up or you destroy. It may be a job, a work, a relationship, whatever it might be. Whenever you get frustrated, if you blow up, you destroy the situation, make things even worse. So whenever we are frustrated, it is very important to get deeply in touch with our frustration. I'm very frustrated. And by deeply in touch with it, slowly and slowly you will learn more and more about it. Then you will see the situation holistically. You see your situation, your expectations. You see another person's expectations, abilities, conditions, difficulties, even another person's motivations. We do something together, but our motivation might not be the same. So when our motivations are not the same, sometimes we feel very angry or upset. Oh, that person's motivation is not very good. I don't want to work with him. But instead of thinking like that and giving up, we can discuss about the situation and still keep on working. We have to work together to achieve something big. Like a society here, I always talk about this because I really feel this is very important. To have a society, to have a community is very important. One person cannot do much. Together we can do quite a lot. But when we work together, we have different motivations. So people get frustrated again and again. What do we do then? First, get in touch with our own frustration. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I don't like this. And deeply, by being deeply in touch with it, you can back away a little bit and see that. What is happening? What is happening to me now? Am I biased? Sure. All of us are biased. It is very difficult not to be biased. Personal bias, all of us have personal bias. But when we become mindful of our own frustration and of our own biased point of view, then we can turn around and look at the situation from another person's point of view. Then we become magnanimous. We become big then. Magnanimous means big, animus means soul. Then we become big soul, big heart. Well, I can take his place or her place and see and understand how he or she feels about it. If we can understand that way, then we can cooperate. Even change each other's, compromise each other's desires, expectations. So whenever people work together, we need to understand each other and some compromise. Without doing that, we cannot work. To control impulse, very important too. These days, younger people have become very impulsive. Many parents told me, oh, we can't control our children. They are so jumpy. They want to do this, they want to do that. Before they finish doing one thing, they get up and do another thing. They won't even listen for 5 minutes. Before you finish telling them what you want to tell them, they are off. So very impulsive. That means they are not really in touch with their emotions. They are emotionally not mature. So we must help our children to become in touch with their own emotions, to understand their emotions, and then also help them understand our emotions, our expectations, our frustrations also, our hopes. So understanding each other's emotion is very important in relationships. So to control impulse and delay gratification. To achieve something needs a long time to do. So we do something now, but we have to wait for a long time, maybe many years, to get the results. So to wait is very important. So I read in one book, a person said that he learned two things. He learned how to meditate and he learned how to wait. Very important. When you meditate, then you really learn to wait. You become very patient. You can see a very big picture. And you can see far away distance in your life. You can see what will happen. So, like you are growing up a seed, you put that in the ground and you look after the seed, it becomes a small seedling. And then you look after the seedling and it grows and grows and grows. It might take many, many years to get the fruit, to get the result. So in Burma they plant palm trees. You know, the toddy palm trees, we get molasses from palm trees, palm juice. To get palm juice from a palm tree, you have to wait for about 30 years. You plant one palm seed now and wait for 30 years to get the result. So that is delaying gratification. We need to teach our children to do that also. Do what is proper to do now, patiently. You will get the results later. But in many cases, we get the results right away to a certain extent. Like say when you meditate, you sit down and calm down, try to keep your mind on breathing. Even if you do that for 10 minutes, even though your mind is not still for the whole 10 minutes, still after you get up, you feel a little bit calm and relaxed. Many of my friends told me, well, I sit and meditate, and all the time my mind was thinking, but when I got up, I noticed that I was much calmer than before. You get some results. When you are angry, you pay attention. Oh, anger, I'm angry, this is anger. If you pay attention, then your anger becomes less and less. You are in control of your anger. You don't explode, you don't react. And after you've calmed down, then you see what's the right thing to do, what's the best you can do. And you respond appropriately. Not to react, but to respond. So reaction comes from automatic impulse, but response comes from understanding the whole situation, understanding from different angles, and then you do what is the right thing to do. You don't become so personal about it. You don't become so biased. So mindfulness gives you distance and time so that you can calm down and look at it. To regulate one's moods, this is very important too. That's why I advise my friends to meditate early in the morning. The first thing in the morning, meditate. As soon as you wake up, oh, I'm awake now, meditate. Don't get up from your bed immediately. Stay in your bed for a few minutes and meditate before you think about anything. And then mindfully get up, go and wash, and sit for a while and meditate. Get some time, arrange your life, your daily life for meditation, for regular sitting meditation. So that early in the morning you are in a very peaceful mood. Peacefulness is a mood, kind of mood also. Equanimity is also mood. It's a kind of emotion, but neutral. Very good. Whenever we hear neutral, we think it's not good. Neutral means what? We are more prone to value happiness, excitement. We don't really value quietness, peacefulness, equanimity, balance. So it's like drinking water. Very important. Water doesn't taste anything, but it's so important in our life. So the most important drink that we drink is water. The most important food that we eat is plain bread and plain rice. The rest, just seasoning. So it's a way like that, to keep our mind very calm and peaceful most of the time, to maintain our mood. And depression also is a mood. Unhappiness is also a kind of mood, emotion. So to regulate one's mood, if you know how you are feeling now, if you know your emotions, then you can regulate. If you don't know, it will regulate you. Your mood will regulate you, influence you and make you do things for which you will regret later. So very important to be in touch with our mood. Mood is very subtle. It's not very emotional. It's not very exciting. Sometimes you're a little bit upset, very, very slightly upset. You're not even aware of it. But because you have this low level of irritation or feeling of upset, whenever somebody makes a mistake, you explode. Because you already have that tense state of mind. And people will say, this person, you don't know how to deal with this person anymore. You don't make a small mistake, he will just explode. So people want to go away from you, turn away from you. They don't want to relate with you anymore. You are impossible. So I know a lot of people, some of them are parents. The children complain so much, oh, my father, don't go in front, don't go and see him. He will always point out some of your mistakes and get upset. So I taught some of my friends who are now parents, I told them how to understand children, how to understand children's emotions, and how to talk with them and deal with them. Now I receive letters, they say that, yes, my children have changed now. Without forcing them to change, you can change them. Very indirectly, very gently. So, to regulate one's mood is important. Keep distress from swamping the ability to think. When we become too anxious, when we have too much anxiety, we cannot think straight anymore. We make more and more mistakes. So whenever we get excited, anxious, that is another mood or emotion. Get in touch with that emotion. Get in touch with that mood. And if you get used to doing that, in a few seconds you see it very clearly. And you are in control now. Your mindfulness and wisdom is in control now. And the mood or the frustration, anything, the sadness, whatever, it will not influence you. Although it may still be there, it will not influence you. You can work with it. To empathize. In our relationship with people, empathy is very important. Without that, it is very hard to work with people. Especially with our family members, with our close friends, empathy is very important. So to be able to empathize is a kind of compassion also. To be compassionate, to understand another person's feelings, emotions, hopes, sadness, unhappiness, whatever. So to empathize is important, and to hope for our life also, for ourselves and for others also. Always being hopeful is important. No matter how bad the situation is now, if you feel hopeful, things can get better. If you feel hopeless, things will get worse. So, to encourage another person to be hopeful also is very important. If you can't help another person in any other way, just encourage that person, give some hope. So I know a lot of doctors who are treating terminal patients with very serious diseases. Sometimes the doctor said, the best I can do now is just to give this person some hope to live. And sometimes really that's the best. If a person feels hopeful, then he feels better and maintain his activities, state of mind very well. And some even recover. If a person feels hopeless, even a minor disease can kill a person. Hopelessness is really terrible. It really can kill you. So no matter what happens, to be hopeful is very important. No matter how bad the situation is. For yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your country, even for the whole humanity, maybe. So not to feel hopeless is very important. Much evidence testifies that people who are emotionally adept means you don't deny your emotion, you don't suppress the emotion, you accept the emotion, you understand the emotion, you are in touch with the emotion. Even from the very subtle state, you are aware of that. So you understand yourself and you understand other people also, and you do what is appropriate to do. That means to be adept. So people who are emotionally adept, who know and manage their own feelings well, who know and manage. First you need to know, then you manage. Without knowing it, without being in touch with it, without being aware of it, you cannot manage it. Even if you deny it and you feel like, oh, I don't feel upset about it, it doesn't matter, you deny it, so you really don't feel it sometimes, but still it affects your behavior. In many ways it comes out. And when people point that out, you said, no, I didn't do that because I got upset. No, I'm not upset. But still, you say things that hurts others. You judge, you criticize too harshly, inappropriately. So, only when we are deeply in touch with our emotions, then we can manage it honestly. So, if you deny your emotion, you'll become dishonest. So who know and manage their own feelings well, and who read and deal effectively with other people's feelings. Read. You can read it. People show that actually. If you know how to observe people, even though the words they use, the tone, the loudness or the softness of the voice, the way they look, the eyes are very expressive. And the face, the way they smile even, sometimes they're just wearing a smile, they are not smiling. The smile is not coming from their heart, they are just wearing a smile. You can see that when this person is not really smiling. You know that something is going on. Even the way they move their hands, when you say something, suddenly they move their hands, that shows that something is upsetting. This person is upset now. Sometimes you look down or you look away, you try to avoid contact, you can see that this person is very uneasy now. Something is hurt, something is hurting him. What you are saying is hurting that person. Or what you are going to say, he or she knows that you are going to say something, is trying to avoid. So to understand these things is very important in our relationships. With other people's feelings are at an advantage in any domain of life. Those who can do that, those who can understand their own emotions and understand other people's emotions, those who can read the sign languages also, they become very successful. Are at an advantage in any domain of life, whether romance and intimate relationships, or picking up the unspoken rules that govern success in organizational politics. Every organization has its politics and there are unwritten rules. How do you understand unwritten rules? If you don't understand unwritten rules, you won't be able to work with that organization very well. And those rules will never be written. It's impossible to write some of the rules, but you have to understand and still, from that understanding, work. In every home there are unwritten rules. People with well-developed emotional skills are also more likely to be content and effective in their lives. If you know your emotions very well, then you feel more content, more calm and peaceful. And when you meditate and become very calm and peaceful, contentment becomes very naturally. You don't have to try to be content. Because that deep understanding of your own mind, of your own emotions, gives you some sort of satisfaction, very deep satisfaction. You feel very close to yourself. You don't feel lonely most of the time. So people who are not in touch with their own thoughts and feelings and emotions feel more lonely. So to overcome loneliness, the first thing we need to do is to be in touch with our own thoughts, emotions and feelings. Every thought is accompanied with a kind of emotion. Every thought. There's no thought without emotions. So try to understand our own thoughts and emotions. Mastering the habits of mind. So, people with well-developed emotional skills are also more likely to be content and effective in their lives. Mastering the habits of mind that fosters their own productivity. So if we understand our own emotions, then we can maintain our mood and keep doing what is proper to do, what is the right thing to do, what is beneficial to do. If we can't understand our emotions, we become more impulsive. We do something now and we change our mind. And do something again and change our mind. So people change jobs, people change partners, people change. Too much change now. Change is necessary in our life, but too much change is not very good because we lose direction. And we always think that I'll change my mind again, so why take anything so seriously? So we can't take anything seriously anymore. We can't even take ourselves seriously anymore. We can't even take our motivations, our intentions, even our goodwill seriously anymore. I might change my mind any moment. And when you deal with another person also who is very impulsive, you can say, you will think that, well, how can I take that person so seriously? He will change, she will change her mind very soon. So, better to keep a distance. Better not to get so involved, better not to really trust. So, people who are not emotionally balanced are not trustworthy. People don't trust those people. So, if we are in touch with our own emotions and maintain emotional stability and become emotionally more mature, then we can really decide to do something. We can still maintain our good intentions, no matter what happens. In our relationship, if somebody is doing something wrong, we can still maintain our good intention for that person. We won't give up. We will still keep on working, very patiently, very lovingly. And someday, things will get better. So to understand our emotion, to understand other people's emotion is very, very important in our life. People who cannot marshal some control over their emotional life fight inner battles. We fight inner battles. We are always changing. Inner battles that sabotage their ability for focused work and clear thought. So focused work and clear thought is more and more important these days. Life is not so simple anymore. Life is becoming more and more complicated, more and more burdensome. You make a mistake, you suffer for it. You have to pay for it. So, to be impulsive is not good anymore. It never was good, but it's more damaging now. So, people who are not emotionally in control, not emotionally mature, have more inner battles, inner conflict, more regret, and sometimes they feel themselves hopeless. I'm just hopeless. Nobody wants to talk with me anymore. Nobody wants to be a friend with me anymore. Because you are so impulsive. Sometimes you are nice, sometimes you are very nasty. And people said, oh, enough. I know some people like that in Burma. She has no friend. And another man also, I know, he has no friend. He lives alone, very, very lonely. So, if you want more friends, be more considerate. Develop empathy, compassion. And to develop empathy, compassion, first you need to be in touch with your own emotions. So, awareness of emotions is the fundamental emotional competence on which others, such as emotional self-control, build. So, awareness of emotions, this is fundamental. Before we become emotionally balanced, emotionally mature, before we can control our emotions, first we need to be aware of our emotions. So, to be aware means to be interested but not reactive. We are interested. We pay deep attention. We are willing to look at our emotions, but we don't react. Awareness of emotions, in short, means being aware of both our own mood and our thoughts about that mood. So, with thought comes emotions and mood. So, pay attention to your thoughts, the words that you use. Some people have the habit of using very harsh words, negative words. So whenever you think with negative words, harsh words, strong words, feel that emotion also. It is a non-reactive, non-judgmental attention to inner states. Non-reactive, non-judgmental attention. You don't judge yourself, you don't react. You don't feel upset about it even. You don't even feel guilty about it. You pay attention, you know that I'm upset, I'm angry, or I'm worrying, I'm anxious, I'm afraid. So when you pay close attention, do it and you'll find out. You calm down, you become more relaxed, you become more balanced. Just by paying attention, you become more balanced. Do it and find out. Not difficult to do, it needs only some practice. So, if you are mindful, then you are more balanced. Even when you become emotional, you know your emotion, you don't react. You can still maintain your balance. And learn from the emotion also. You become very rich. You have a very rich inner life. So I can feel a very wide range of emotions. When I was young, I thought it's very shameful to be emotional. It's not manly. Men don't feel sad. Men don't feel unhappy. Men are very rational. They do the right thing. And that's it, finished. Even to be happy was thought of as something shameful. But as you become more honest to yourself, you see that no matter what you think about it, you still feel. You are still emotional. And it's okay. So, try to understand a very wide range of emotions, your emotions. So how much can you feel? I don't know where I've put away one of my notes. I have so many, now I cannot find. Well, anyway, loving kindness is a kind of emotion. When you feel loving, you feel very warm, very soft, very gentle. It makes you feel very good. And peacefulness also, in meditation you feel very peaceful. Emotionally very, very balanced, very calm, equanimity. Yesterday I talked about equanimity. You know, even talking about equanimity, I can see people become very calm and relaxed. Even the idea of being balanced, calm, not excited, accepting totally, willing to accept anything, willing to let go anything, being open to the process. No matter what happened, I'm open to it, I'm not resisting it, and not grasping, not clinging. That is balance. Even when I talk about that, I notice people, they are very calm. They're getting into that mood. You see, words can make people become like that. So when you make a joke, people laugh. You change their mood immediately. So when you talk about something very peaceful and calm, people become very peaceful and calm. So it depends on how you think. If you are in the habit of thinking terrible things, you are making yourself in a bad mood. So if you can change your thought, you can change your mood also. Not that difficult actually, but it's a habit. So joy, tranquility, calmness, peacefulness, feeling hopeful, equanimity, sadness, frustration, loneliness, a lot. So try to maintain good mood throughout the day by being mindful. There's no other way you can maintain your mood. The only that is practical and very effective way to maintain your mood is to be mindful. You might go slightly up and down, but still you maintain your mood. And sometimes when you are mindful, you can understand that very deeply. And from that understanding, you learn something and you like it. So good moods, while they last, enhance the ability to think flexibly and with more complexity. So when you are in a good mood, you are more flexible. When you are in a bad mood, you become biased, you become rigid. You cannot change, you don't want to change. You want to accept another person's point of view. You don't even want to understand. So good mood is very important, and with more complexity, thus making it easier to find solutions to problems, whether intellectual or interpersonal. So especially those who are in a position of a leader or parent or in an organization, very important to maintain equanimity, to be mature. So now I've heard some of my friends telling me that in the future, things will become so complicated that people who cannot maintain their mood can make very serious mistakes and cause a lot of damage. What will happen if a president of a country loses his mind and make a wrong decision, give a wrong order? Millions of people can die. So in the future especially, to maintain equanimity, to maintain your mood is more important. Only those who can maintain that can become leaders, teachers. And we need good leaders and good teachers. So we need to train ourselves, to train our friends, to train our children to maintain their mood. Otherwise they will destroy the world. Moody, people become very moody, mood swings, manic depressive. Sometimes they become very depressed, sometimes they become very active and aggressive. Even mild mood change can sway thinking. Even when you become really calm, more relaxed, you can see things more clearly. In making plans or decisions, people in good moods have a perceptual bias that leads them to be more expansive and positive in their thinking. More expansive, big. You can see a big picture. And more positive. No matter how terrible the situation is now, I will not make the situation get worse. I'll try my best to improve the situation. Always trying your best to improve, not to blow up. So to be hopeful, to have a positive attitude, positive expectation is very, very important. The people with high levels of hope share certain traits. Among them, being able to motivate themselves. When you are positive, when you feel hopeful, you are motivated. You want to do something. When you feel hopeless, you stop. You don't want to do anything anymore. That means depression. So, to be hopeful is very important. Feeling resourceful enough to find ways to accomplish their objects. Feeling resourceful means you know that you have the ability, some ability at least, to solve the problem, to overcome the difficulties. And even if you don't have all the solutions, you can see that, well, I can go and ask advice from my friends and teachers. If I still have some time, I can still learn and deal with this problem. So you feel hopeful. You feel that you have the ability and resources to work with this problem. If you feel that I have no ability, I have no resources, I cannot do anything about it, you become hopeless. So it is very important to develop all our abilities and skills. Then we feel more hopeful because we are more resourceful. So feeling resourceful enough to find ways to accomplish their objectives reassuring themselves when in a tight spot that things will get better. Things will get better. No matter how hard, no matter how difficult it is now, things will get better. You can still learn something from this situation. Being flexible enough to find different ways to get to their goals or to switch goals if one becomes impossible, and having the sense to break down a formidable task into smaller, manageable pieces. So, there are many ways to solve one problem. Maybe 3, 4, 5 ways. So some people are very rigid. When they can get it in the way that they want to get it, they take it. When they cannot get it in that way, they refuse to take it or to do it. So there are a lot of people like that. For example, to go from here to Melbourne, you can take many different routes, many different ways of getting there. So whenever you want to solve a problem, try to find many options, many choices. How many choices do I have? If I can do this way, I will do it. If not, then I will change. So to be able to change, to be willing to change is also very important. People who are not willing to change put themselves in a very tight spot, in a fix. They cannot move anymore. And when you think about a big problem and think of solving the whole thing immediately, sometimes you are not able to do it. You just stop. So break down, step by step solution. Having hope means that one will not give in to overwhelming anxiety. You don't give in. So whenever you feel anxious, meditate and calm down a little bit. When you meditate and calm down, you are less anxious. When you can see things more clearly, you are not overwhelmed with your anxiety. When we are too anxious, too worried, sometimes we think that we cannot do anything. But when we become calm and think about it again, you see that it's not that difficult. I can work with it. I can deal with it. I can cope it. So always tell yourself, I can cope it. Just telling yourself makes you feel stronger. And when you feel stronger, then you can think more creatively. You can see more clearly. A defeatist attitude or depression in the face of difficult challenges or setbacks. So no matter whatever happens, not to have a defeatist attitude is very important. Don't ever think that you are defeated. Indeed, people who are hopeful evidence less depression than others. Of course, when you are hopeful, you don't get depressed. You are interested. You are motivated. You have energy. You want to do something. You want to work. The less depression than others as they maneuver through life in pursuit of their goals, are less anxious in general and have fewer emotional distress. So the whole day try to be mindful and keep your mood calm and peaceful. Hope is more than the sunny view that everything will turn out alright. Hope doesn't mean that, I'll just sit and wait, everything will be okay. No, that is not hope. Just to sit and wait and hope that something will happen is not hope. It is believing you have both the will and the way to accomplish your goals, whatever they may be. You know that you have the will and you know that there's a way. You know that you have ability. You know that you can get help from other people too. Because we are not all able. But we can get help from many people. If you are willing to accept help, you can get a lot of help from people. If you have the right attitude to accept and ask for help. So whenever you are in a big difficult situation, calm down and see what you can do about it and look at your own resources, your abilities, your knowledge, and also talk with good friends. They can help you, advise you, encourage you. They can give you some hope. When you feel that somebody is with you, then you feel more hopeful. You are not alone. We are not alone in this world. Nobody is lonely actually. Only we make ourselves lonely. If we don't do that, we will have friends and they will help us. Always, always. So don't make yourself lonely. Don't cut yourself off. Always think that If I'm willing, if I'm friendly and open, there will be many friends who will help me. So, in Pali text, maybe you have heard about Buddha talk about adipati, very strong motivation. Chanda adipati, chitta adipati, viriya adipati, vimansa adipati. So it means you have very strong desire, strong wish to do something. If it is really strong, that energy will keep you going and one day you will accomplish it. So Buddha said, Chandavato Kenama na Sijati. If you really have chanda, will, wish, what is there that you cannot accomplish? Kenama, what is there? Na Sijati, that cannot be accomplished. If you really have the will, there really is a way to do that. You will really accomplish it. The same thing Buddha said, Chetavato Kenama na Sijati. If you really have that persistence, sometimes people say, I want to do this, and then they forget about it. They don't have chitta adipati. But if you think that I want to do it, and you always keep that in your mind, you never forget it. All day, day after day, you never forget it. You're always thinking about it, looking for ways, looking for knowledge, how to do this, and getting in touch with people who can give you some information, advice, help. If you keep doing that, then it will happen. If you think, oh, I want to do this, and you forget about it, it will not happen. So if you are persistent like that, Buddha said, what is there that you cannot accomplish? Which means that there's nothing you cannot accomplish. Unbelievable. It just takes time. It's just a matter of time. Viriya adipati, energetic. You do with all your energy, with all your body and mind, wholeheartedly. I'll do it. That's it. No half-heartedness. I will do it with all my body and mind, with all my resources, with all my time. And so Buddha said, Viriyawato Kinnamana Nasajiti. If you really have that sort of energy, what is there that you cannot accomplish? And Vimansa Wato Kinnamana Nasajiti. That means understanding how to do something. If you really understand, even though you don't understand, you can find out. It takes time only. So if you really understand, if you really have that wisdom, what is there that you cannot do? So if you have all these four, not just one, all these four, you can do what you want to do. But to have this, you need emotional stability. If you are not emotionally stable, you change your mind. You lose your motivation. So, to have this emotional stability, you need to be mindful. That's why mindfulness is so important. That's why Buddha reminds his disciples again and again, be mindful, be mindful. You know anything about Thomas Alva Edison? Somebody know about Thomas Alva Edison? Yes, who invented electricity. Very famous for this, but he invented more than 3,000 objects. And one of his inventions is gramophone also. Yes. Even safety pins. Maybe you forgot that. Even safety pins he invented that. Electric bulbs and the meters that measure the electricity, how much you have used, more than 3,000. And also the battery that you use in your car, he invented that. Rechargeable battery, he invented that. So when he was inventing this rechargeable battery, he did more than 200 experiments which failed. So even his assistant said, this won't work, there is no such thing, it is impossible. You cannot get rechargeable batteries. And some people said that to Edison, and Edison said, I found out more than 200 ways which will not work. I'm closer to succeeding. That sort of belief in yourself is necessary. If you really want to make something big, that sort of belief is necessary. I have found out more than 200 ways that won't work. I'm closer. Keep going, and he follows. So, encourage yourself, meditate, develop your inner qualities. If you have developed your inner qualities, the rest in your life will happen very easily. Very easily, actually, it's unbelievable, you see, but easily. I know, I have many friends and students who are doing that. I can read letters from them, even they send me here. I told them not to write to me, I have no time to reply. But still they want me to know how well they are doing. So I'm very happy about that. I cannot do that for you. I can only encourage you. You can do that for yourself. If you really meditate and become calm, mindful, and get deeply in touch with your own mind, with your own motivation, you can accomplish something really great. Your daily life will improve and improve and improve. Your relationship will improve, your job will improve, your understanding of life, Dhamma, everything will improve. With mindfulness, everything will get better. But with mindlessness, sure, everything will get worse and worse. You become more and more hopeless. So if you want to be hopeful, be mindful. I still have some ideas to talk about, but I look at the clock. It's time for me to stop. So, again, to go to the beginning again, I always like to remind myself also, this is also a reminder for myself. Where is that? Couldn't find my notes anymore. This is the quotation that I read first. Monks, thus must you train yourselves. We will be thankful and grateful. Oh, it makes me so warm and happy just to think about that. Thankful and grateful. Not even the least thing that is done for us shall be forgotten. So, you have done a lot for me, I will never forget that. Let's pay respect to the Buddha. Even these few words, so precious, so precious. Very thankful for the Buddha too, for saying such things, for teaching. I honor the Buddha by the very practice that leads to liberation. I honor the Dhamma by the very practice that leads to liberation. I honor the Sangha by the very practice that leads to liberation. So good to honor somebody who is worthy of honor.